What's going on, guys? It's Drew over at Future Strategy Gaming, coming at you with a quick thoughts video. These are going to be my goals for Endwalker. So the first and primary goal for me is going to be finishing that main story quest. As of right now, I've completed through 5.1. I'm about to start working on 5.2. Is that right? Old enemy? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, old enemies, new threats, I think is 5.2. But I want to do it on a class that I am enjoying. I've got two level 80s right now, an Astrologian and a Monk, and I definitely enjoy the Astrologian more right now. The Monk's just kind of okay. I enjoy it, but it's not, I don't think I'd main it. I leveled it outside of, trying to raid or something. So I think I would main something different. Which brings me to my next one is another goal is going to be leveling my other jobs. Now, if you see here, got that 80 as far as the Astrologian and the Monk. Now, I want to level two tanks. So as far as tanks go, I leveled the Paladin to 60 last week, and honestly, guys, I really don't like it. I know that the rotation opens up with the magical side of things as you progress past 60, but getting to 60, the non-magical side of it's boring as shit. I don't enjoy playing that class at all. Unfortunately, there's a lot of cool fantasy. I actually love the storyline of that, like all the class quests, but man, it's boring. Sorry, guys. So I picked up Marauder because I want a tank, potentially two, and it's awesome. I love the amount of damage it deals, and I think that's why I'm enjoying it as much as it does, which is going to benefit me long term. As you can see, I'm about to get Marauder up to 30, so it'll be time to move to Warrior, and I'm pretty stoked. I do not have the Dark Knight unlocked just yet, but I am planning on doing that. I'm going to level that as my other tank before Endwalker. And A, I just like the fantasy. B, I've ran a lot of groups that have Dark Knights, and it seems like they have a lot of defensive kits that I really enjoy. So I think I'm going to work on that. Gunbreaker, I love Final Fantasy VIII. It's my favorite Final Fantasy of all time, and Gunbreaker reminds me of Squall and who that is. And right now, I'm just not ready to do that again, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it. I just don't want to ruin that fantasy of who Squall was to me. So I'm gonna hold off on the Gunbreaker. Probably touch it in Endwalker, but we'll see. As far as healer goes, I have seen White Mage gameplay at top end. Don't like it. It's very boring. Too straightforward for me. Like, I like some complexity, which is why you see the Astrologian at 80. I played it before they did the rework. Loved it before that. It's okay now. I'm getting used to it, and I feel like I excel at it. But definitely miss the old version of Astro. But I think it's got the best fantasy in my opinion. Having the different cards, there's so many extra layers to how that's played. So I'm planning on keeping that at 80, and that will be one of the first ones I get to level 90 when Endwalker drops. Scholar, I am planning on moving that to 80 as well. And then when early access comes out, I will be messing around with the Sage a little bit. I think a shield healer would be cool. I usually play the hot healer when it comes to Astrologian. So I'm interested to see how Sage gameplay is. I think it could be very unique and something very fun, so I'm going to give that a shot. If we move to melee DPS, you see the Monk's already at 80. Samurai is the next melee that I'm going to be leveling. I'm going to go to 80 with that. I just really love the fantasy of it. I've been told the class storyline is fantastic, and I've seen gameplay footage of Endgame with it, and I love it. It looks awesome. So it's something I'm definitely gonna work on. Lancer is like to Dragoon is on my list, but it's one of those ones where, like, if I don't get to it, it's not going to hurt my feelings. I like it, what I watched, but it's not something I'm going to strive for. I'm not going to feel empty if I didn't get it there. Rogue to Ninja, not something I'm interested in. I've seen the gameplay. It's just, it seems very confusing to me, and it feels like it would be very hard to master. Maybe that's just my 2 cents, but I don't want to go and play another melee class that I'm not going to potentially enjoy. Do plan on playing Reaper. Who isn't? Just not full-time playing it, just giving it a shot when early access hits and seeing what happens from there. For the physical range DPS on another character on a different server, I have a Bard at level like 43-ish or so, I think, and it's boring. Don't care for it. Kind of a snooze fest. I played Dancer a little bit when Shadowbringers was in early access, and then played it a little bit after before I quit, because I quit like 4 days after Shadowbringers came out. just because I had work going on. And I like Dancer. From what I understand, it's actually really fun at 80. So I think that that'll be my first physical range that I level to 80. And then Machinist, I hear really good things all the time. The videos I see seem really, really cool. So that's on my list as well. I'm going to hit the Machinist up as well. But I'm going to leave that Archer. That'll probably, of all these classes, that's probably tied for what I do last with White Mage, just because both of them are, I'm very uninterested by both of those. So as far as magical range goes, the Summoner you can see at level 54, it's boring to me. It just feels like the pet is just kind of there and deals damage, and that's fine. But you know, coming from WoW, I have a certain expectation. It doesn't fulfill that, and then you know, I just kind of find the rotation to be very unforgiving. You know, it's on that 2-minute cycle, and I'm not really great at it, I guess, and so I don't want to get caught up in that. But the Thaumaturge I started messing around with just so I can make that Hall of the Novice video over in the things I wish someone would have told me. Check that one out. And I know it moves to Black Mage. I like the ebb and flow of like, hey, you're in your mana conserve phase, hey, now you're in your burn phase. And I know it gets more complex from later standpoint. From what I understand, like after 60, the rotation you learned completely changes based on ability at like 64 or something like that, which I think is awesome. You know, because it's like 2 classes in one, which is really cool. So I might give that a shot. Red Mage is on my list. I have the unlock quest, I just haven't done it yet. I love Red Mage and like Final Fantasy Tactics. I think it was one of my favorite ones. Tactics Advance is like one of my favorite handheld games. It's awesome. But Red Mage was super cool in that, and I see the gameplay and have groups with Red Mages. I'm like, oh, this would be sweet. I love the idea of like, hey, I've got these casts, and dual cast is a great mechanic, and now I got to jump in a melee and do some stuff. I think that's really, really unique. And something that really interests me. So Red Mage will probably be something I level to 80 as well. Ideally, obviously, I want to get all these to 80 to get the Amaro mount, but 5 months might seem like a long time. It's not that long. So outside of that, 3-ish Bard, I had blacksmithing and miner up to like the 30s or something like that. But I think you can see what I have unlocked: botanist, fisher, and culinarian. It's probably the only jobs in the discipline of hands and discipline of the lands area, because I was a chef for 17 years, so I guess there's like some real life ties, RP type stuff. So I want to give it a shot. It's something that I think can be very fun and very interesting to learn a new crafting system, because I know it's very complex. So I'm gonna give that a pretty good go. You know, obviously the RP of me having been a cook before is a pretty fun one. It also ties into one of my other goals, which is to make Gil. Down here you can see my Gil in the bottom right corner, 2.1 essentially. I want to get to 10. I don't own an apartment. I haven't purchased a plot of land, so getting to 10 million and getting an apartment, so 10.5 million is the goal. I think that it's very reasonable. Obviously I'll be helped out by doing, you know, all this leveling, selling all that gear, material melding, that kind of stuff, as well as, you know, selling food, just to try to make some money. I think 10 mil is very reasonable moving into Endwalker. I also think you don't need more than 2 or 3 mil when you move into an expansion, but any more is a huge benefit. And I'm planning on starting an FC specifically for this channel, and so I want to be able to purchase a free company house at some point for everyone to be able to enjoy. So that's something that I'm going to need to grind a lot of gil for, and so that I can definitely do. So outside of that, so all that stuff's done. I definitely want to work on Basha. I have not even touched that zone yet, so I want to get into that. I want to complete the Crystal Towers quest and storyline. I'm very intrigued by it. I've heard a lot of good things, and I love that RP element, so I think I'm going to jump into that. And then I'll do a quick thoughts video on all the relic weapons and see which ones I like, and potentially go after some of those. I know the grinds can be a little crazy, but you know, I like grinds. We got 5 months. What else is there to do? And then might potentially try some raids. The goal for sure, and this is something that I'll definitely do quick thought videos about, is all the trials on extreme, no matter what. I think that's very reasonable, very doable. I also think that I could probably clear all of E12N and maybe up to like E6, 7, 8-ish on Savage. The biggest problem I have is time constraints. My job is really picking up right now. Baby's about to turn 1 years old, 1 year old. Summertime is limited, and as such, I don't want to be a burden on groups, which is why I probably won't do E12 Savage or Ultimate Raids, Alliance Raids, maybe. Obviously, it's Duty Finder, so it's a little different, but I just don't want to go into a group and be like, hey, I've got an hour and 13 minutes. Let's get some prog in. No, like, that's unfair to the group. You need 3 or 4 hours. I'm not going to hold anybody hostage like that. It's not something I like to do. So, and then I think the last thing I want to do for the next couple of months before Endwalker is make more content for you. I'm new to YouTube as far as creating content goes, and even just how small that I've been doing 10, 20 views on videos. I've got one video in the hundreds. Like, that's enough to fuel me, because obviously I'm not making money off this. That's not the goal either. I just enjoy making this content and seeing people being watching it and actually, giving me likes and doing that is good inspiration for me to just continue to do more. So I'm going to. And, I hope that I can make enough content to keep you intrigued. And then at Endwalker, every content creator is essentially on the same page, right? Like, as far as guides or anything like that goes. So I'm really excited to be a part of the community for something that is very special, especially with how we've been told 6.0 ends the story. And we all get to start fresh at 6.1 together on something brand new, potentially. I think that's going to be awesome and really lend to some really cool things on this channel. So thank you so much for giving me your time. As always, I'm Drew. If you like the video, hit the like button right down below. If you want to see more of these videos or my other material, click that subscribe button. It'll be on your screen right now. And if you have any suggestions of content you want to see, put those in comments, send me messages. I love to engage. I definitely feel like I've been reacting to as many of the comments that people have left, and will continue to do such as we continue moving on. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching this video. Peace out. Take care.